Hello, my name is Olivier Gonzalez. I'm a staff engineer in composition analysis, and this is a recording about how to configure a GDK to enable the package metadata sync to get data for continuous gravity scanning, and the license scanning of cyclone.dx files. So let's start with going into your GDK folder. So this is a fresh install on a new machine, and I've just set up the GDK there. And I've also configured the local domain name gdk.test. So let's start it, and I'll open a second one with the race console. And we should now have that running. Wait a bit for the boot. That should be running on gdk.test. I've also configured my ultimate license, which is necessary for accessing ultimate features like the license scanning and continuous gravity scans. So please do that. Now, if we want to look at the docs, we can search for continuous vulnerability scanning. And there we can see that to configure this, we need to enable the dependency scanning feature, but also on self-manage, we have to make sure that the sync is enabled, and we can pick this up in the admin area. By default, it's enabled, but you can still double check it. So here I'm logged in with the default root user, so I should get access to the admin area. And since I have configured the ultimate license, I can access the security and compliance settings there. I can verify that all package types are currently configured, so data will be synced for all of those. If you want to speed things up and you're already focusing on one item, for instance, and you want to make sure you're just syncing that first, you can untick the others, at least at the beginning. That will make sure that the sync is focusing on that specific package type initially, and then it will catch up with the others later. We don't have yet documentation in like the how to contribute specifically to the GitLab developments. This is something we want to add further there. But in the meantime, we still have some documentation in the GDK, like in the doc setting, we have license compliance. Oh no, it's in the O2. Yeah, O2 license. Yeah, license compliance here. So there are two things we need to do in order to get all the license compliance feature working. For instance, the first thing is to make sure that we have all the license from SPDX index that are loaded into the Raise app. So we can have a look. Let's look at the code, the GitLab project, for instance, looking at this worker. So this is running on a cron. So maybe looking for Skittle Pie. Yeah, so the cron tab for that one is configured here. If you're not familiar with cron, by the way, you can use cron tab guru. Yeah, crontabguru.com. That will explain. So here it says that this is running at 3 a.m. on Sunday. So obviously we don't want to wait for Sunday to run this. So there is an opportunity to run it before by copy pasting that command. And also, yeah, just to verify that we don't have anything already in the database, we can check the software license um, records. So we should be at 0. That's the case. So let's pass that command. Oopsie. This should be within the GitLab directory. And this just takes a few seconds, and this will load all the licenses from SPDX index. And once it's done, we can check. Okay, we have more than 400 licenses stored now in GitLab. The next thing we have to do is to enable the package metadata sync, because by default, this is disabled, as I said, in GDK. So for that, you need to configure a runit file. So the runit file is something you have to put into the root directory of your GDK, and the syntax is as shown here. You just add some export commands for the variable you want to configure. So let's add this runit file, and we want to export this variable to enable the sync. All right. Step 3 is not necessary anymore. The compressed package metadata is the default one. So we'll update that doc. So now this is done. Let's restart the GDK. And to trigger a first thing, the sync of the license data and also the advisory data, which is necessary for continuous scans, is happening every 5 minutes. So it's working in small chunks, and every 5 minutes, it's loading the next things to sync, and it might take a while, particularly for licenses because there's a lot of data. But for the advisory, that's pretty quick. Um, oh, I have to be in the GitLab directory to run that. So the way you can check this thing is to go into the console and look at the checkpoint record. Checkpoint. Package metadata. Oops. Checkpoint. Metadata. All right. So we should maybe no. Yeah, I restarted the GDK, so I lost my connection to Postgres. So we now have one. We can also see the details. So this is working with sequence and chunks. So sequence is a big file containing a lot of information, and we split that into separate chunks, and the sync will gradually process those chunks, and it keeps record of that because it just work in 5 minute max cyclic jobs. So sometimes he has to stop and has to catch up where he left. So right now we can see we are syncing the licenses for composer Perl type, and we are at chunk 4. We can check the number of license that we have. We're at 162 so far, and this should keep yeah, increasing gradually. And again, this might take a while, and every 5 minutes, a new job will be performed. And you can also see that from the admin. You can watch the background jobs here. So yeah, the busy one. Yeah, you can see, for instance, we have the licensing worker that's running and the advertising worker that started like 1 minute ago. So those ones we come regularly, as I said, every 5 minutes. We still need to improve the initial sync time and maybe try to find a better way to speed things up for the initial sync. But once you've set that up, you're good to go. And after a few hours, you should have synchronized all the data. Let's have a look. Yeah, we have much more information now. So let's have a look at data type. Oops. File type, data type. What we've started to sync here. Composer advisories, content advisories, and composer licenses. And as time goes, we'll have more and more. Yeah, we just started to load Ruby Gems advisories, for instance. So now you're set up, and after a while, you get all the license data and advisory data into your GDK. Hopefully, we'll have soon also some seeders that will help to specifically load a few of those records already when setting up the GDK, so you don't have to enable the full sync in order to do a bit of testing locally. But yeah, that's not available yet, so hopefully soon. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to the composition and analysis group. We'll be happy to help you.